Soft, distant music hums through the silence, almost like a memory trying to return. In the quiet space between thought and breath, a question rises, one most people avoid, yet every grieving heart secretly asks, what if the people we've lost never truly left? Edgar Cayce taught that what we call death is not an ending, but a thinning, a shift of the soul from one vibration to another. And when the world grows still, when the night is long, and your heart is open, you may sense something familiar moving near you, a presence, a warmth, a whisper that touches the edges of your awareness and then disappears again. Most dismiss it as imagination. But what if it isn't? What if everything you thought you understood about death is incomplete? There was once a person who carried a grief so heavy it changed the way the world sounded. Days felt muted. Rooms felt too quiet. Even the sunlight seemed thinner. They had lost someone whose absence reshaped every corner of their life. A parent, a partner, a friend, one of those rare souls who feels woven into your breathing. For weeks, nothing broke through the numbness. Until one late afternoon, while sorting through old belongings, they found something unexpected, a small box they hadn't opened in years. Inside, letters, photographs, and a folded piece of paper. On it, in the handwriting of the one they lost, were the words, "I'll always find a way to visit you." The moment felt impossible, too symbolic, too precise, yet it sparked something. A single question that grew louder every day. What if this wasn't just memory? What if it was a sign? As they searched for answers, they found Edgar Cayce's teachings, teachings that spoke directly to the ache inside them. Teachings that suggested the connection they felt was not only real, but expected. And from that moment on, their grief began to change form. Edgar Cayce described consciousness as the true identity of the soul, a living field of awareness that cannot die, only transform. According to Cayce, the shift we call death is like water turning into steam. The form changes, but the essence remains. And because emotional bonds are energetic, not physical, those who pass on often remain close to the ones they love. He taught that the departed linger not out of sorrow, but out of connection, to guide, to comfort, to protect, to ease the heart that still beats on this side of the veil. The only reason most people miss the signs, Cayce said, is because material thinking convinces them such contact is impossible. But the moment a heart becomes open, even slightly, the signs begin to appear. And now, with this foundation in place, we can explore what Edgar Cayce called the 7 hidden signs, the subtle ways the departed reach across the veil to remind you that love never leaves. The 7 sign 1. The 3 a.m. awakening, thin hours. There is a particular time of night when the world grows unbelievably quiet, a thin, fragile hour between 2 and 4 a.m. Edgar Cayce taught that in these hours, the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds becomes almost transparent. The restless mind softens. The noise of daytime identity fades, and the soul becomes easier to reach. Many report waking up suddenly, not with fear, but with a sense of presence, as if someone is standing quietly in the room, simply watching over them. Cayce explained that loved ones use this time because human consciousness is most open and undefended. You may awaken at the exact moment they used to wake, or at a time that held meaning. 3:17, 3:33, 3:11. There was once a woman who lost her father, a man who always rose before sunrise. Weeks after his passing, she began waking up at the same hour he once did. Not out of anxiety, but with a gentle warmth in her chest, as though he were silently reminding her, "I'm still here." These awakenings are not accidents. They are invitations. Has this ever happened to you? SIGN 2. Animals as messengers. Animals sense what humans overlook. According to Edgar Cayce, their sensitivity to energy makes them natural messengers for the departed. A bird landing on your windowsill every morning, A butterfly following you for several minutes. A pet staring at an empty corner of a room. These are not random behaviors. They are responses to a presence your eyes cannot see. Cayce taught that when a soul visits, its energy subtly shifts the environment. Animals feel it instantly. One woman who had recently lost her sister noticed a small, yellow butterfly appearing every time she visited their childhood home. It would hover near her door, circle her once, then rest on the handle, as if waiting for her. Moments like these are messages, wrapped in nature's softness, gentle, unexpected, personal. Have you ever seen an animal behave in a way that felt meaningful? SIGN 3. Familiar scents appearing randomly of all the senses. Cayce said scent is the easiest for souls to influence. It vibrates gently, moves quickly, and bypasses logic. A sudden smell of their favorite perfume. The warmth of their tobacco. The scent of old books, roses, sandalwood, lavender. You catch it for just a moment, long enough for your heart to recognize it before your mind can explain it away. One man reported smelling his late mother's vanilla lotion whenever he cried. It would fill the room, linger for just a few seconds, then dissolve into the air. He didn't believe in signs until it happened 3 nights in a row. Not imagination. Not memory. Something else. Cayce's explanation was simple. Souls impress scent onto the subtle field around you, triggering the memory of their closeness. Have you ever smelled something that reminded you of someone at the exact moment you needed them? SIGN 4. Technology and electrical disturbances. Electricity, Cayce said, is one of the easiest mediums for spirit contact. Consciousness is energy, and energy interacts with the physical world in unusual ways. Lights flicker. Phones glow without being touched. Radios turn on with meaningful songs. Televisions change channels at the exact second you were thinking of them. These disturbances often happen when the emotions between you and the departed were strong. A man once shared that after losing his wife, the radio in his car turned on by itself and played their song, a song they danced to on their wedding day. The radio had been dead for months. Moments like this break through disbelief. They feel impossible because they are not random. Cayce insisted, when emotion calls, energy responds. Has technology ever acted strangely after someone passed? SIGN 5. Visitation dreams that feel too real. Most dreams fade. True visitation dreams do not. Edgar Cayce described a spiritual borderland, a place where the living and the departed meet. When the body is asleep, but the soul is awake. These dreams have unmistakable qualities. The colors are vivid. Their face appears healthy, peaceful, glowing. The conversation feels real. You remember every detail when you wake. You feel calmer, lighter, comforted. One woman dreamed of her childhood friend who passed unexpectedly. In the dream, he told her, "Stop blaming yourself. I'm okay." She woke with tears on her face, not from pain, but from release. Cayce taught that souls use dreams to give the messages they couldn't speak in life. Have you ever had a dream that felt like more than a dream? SIGN 6. Repeating numbers and synchronicity. Sperms are the universe's language of alignment. But according to Cayce, souls can influence these alignments to deliver messages only you will understand. You may see their birth date on a receipt, on a clock, on a license plate, or multiple times in the same week, or repeating sequences 111, 222, 333, 444. Not coincidences, but patterns shaped through emotional resonance. One man kept seeing 426, the exact birth time of his late son. It appeared so often, he began writing it down, until he finally understood it not as a wound, but as a reminder, I'm still with you. Synchronicities gather like breadcrumbs, leading you toward connection. Have you been seeing repeating numbers lately? SIGN 7. The feeling of presence, the deepest sign, is often the quietest. A sudden warmth on your shoulder. A calming wave passing through your chest. The sense that someone is standing behind you, even though the room is empty. Edgar Cayce called this the communion of hearts. Love, he taught, is a spiritual force that does not break with death. And when grief softens even for a moment, their presence slips through. One grieving mother described feeling arms wrap around her during a night she could no longer hold her sorrow. No sound, no vision. Just warmth and a peace she hadn't felt in months. This, Cayce said, is not imagination. It is connection. It is love crossing worlds. When all 7 signs are understood together, a deeper pattern begins to emerge, one that Edgar Cayce believed reveals the true nature of life after death. He taught that death does not end a relationship. It only changes the way the relationship expresses itself. Just as the body sheds its old form, the soul sheds its physical limitations, but not its love, not its memories, and not its desire to stay connected to those still living. Cayce often repeated that a soul is drawn to where its love remains. And for many who grieve, that love is still powerful, still awake, still calling across the veil. The signs you experience, the awakenings, the dreams, the warmth, the synchronicities, are not random fragments of grief. They are the language of a consciousness that has shifted form, but not direction. Cayce explained that when a loved one passes, their awareness expands like light filling a larger room. They can see you without barriers, hear you without sound, touch you without hands. They know when you cry at night. They know when your heart grows heavy. They know when you whisper to them in the darkness, even if your voice never leaves your lips. And more than anything, they want you to know something simple, something profoundly human. You are not living this pain alone. Cayce said that the departed move in and out of our awareness based on openness. When your heart softens, when you are quiet enough, still enough, gentle enough with yourself, their presence becomes easier to sense. This does not mean they are trapped here. It means love is a bridge, not a chain. From their side, they offer guidance, comfort, intuition, and soft impressions meant to help you heal. From your side, you offer memory, emotion, and the simple act of allowing connection. Together, this creates what Cayce called the continued relationship of souls. A relationship that does not break, does not fade, does not vanish into the dark, but transforms into a quieter, purer, more spiritual form. And every sign you receive is a reminder of this truth. Love does not disappear. It simply becomes light. As you move forward from this moment, remember that the signs you've experienced, or the ones you will notice after today, are not accidents. They are not coincidences. They are not tricks of the mind. They are traces of love that never learned how to die. Edgar Cayce believed that when we acknowledge these small touches from beyond, we open a doorway, not to fear, not to fantasy, but to healing. If one of these 7 signs has ever touched your life, if you've felt a presence in the night, seen a synchronicity, or awakened with the sense that someone you love is still near, you are not alone. Millions experience these moments, yet most stay silent, afraid others won't understand. But here, in this community, your experiences matter. Your stories help others heal. Your voice may be the bridge someone else needs. So take a moment now and share in the comments below. Which of the 7 signs have you felt? Which one spoke to your heart? Your message might comfort someone who is grieving in silence. And if you want more teachings based on Edgar Cayce, more guidance on spiritual connection, more reminders that love moves far beyond the physical, consider subscribing. This isn't just a channel. It's a place where wounded hearts come to understand that the bonds we form in life do not vanish at death. They deepen. They evolve. They continue. And as Cayce taught so often, love is the only thing that survives every world. Let these words stay with you. Let them soften the grief you carry. And whenever you sense something gentle moving near, a warmth, a whisper, a familiar nudge, know this: someone you love is closer than you think.